Good afternoon. Today we are here for the murder trial of Janet James, aged 43, mother of 4 kids, against her husband, Mr. James. In the last 7 years, Mrs. James has called the police 8 times. Each time she told the police that her husband was beating her. In fact, she went to the hospital with serious injuries 4 times last year. On March 6th, the police received a call from Mrs. James' neighbor. They went to their house where they found Janet James with a gun in her hand and Mr. James on the floor dead. According to what the neighbor said at the crime scene, Mrs. James said that she was sorry and she had shot her husband because she thought he was going to kill her and her children as well. According to the testimony of Mrs. James' neighbor, and the evidence of the repeated times that the defendant was transferred to the hospital for serious injuries, it's definitely that she had suffered mistreatment by her husband. After the defendant's plea, she maintained the testimony that she shot her husband in self-defense. When they were arguing why her husband got too angry, even more than normal, he was driven by anger, and that even her husband pulled a gun from his jacket and threatened to shoot the children. It was when she pushed him to defend her kids and her husband dropped the gun. Things got out of control and feeling in danger, she took the gun and shot him. Okay, let me talk to everybody in the audience. Somebody out there is going to be unhappy. I know there are some family members and friends of Mr. James, and we are gonna know in 5 minutes or less what the verdict is. You might not be happy, but it's not a complete surprise. Whatever the verdict is, if there is anyone who is going to audibly react, then you need to go ahead and quietly step out now. You need to assume that it is the verdict you don't want. Then you can quietly get up and leave. Having said that, according to all the evidence that it was involuntary manslaughter, Mrs. James didn't intend to kill or commit a crime, not on purpose or premeditated. We all in the jury have a verdict. In the Circuit Court Multnomah County Courthouse, Portland, Oregon, versus Janet James, case number 3, the verdict as to the charge count 1, with the jury find the defendant, Mrs. James, innocent of the charge of murder of her husband, Mr. James. Thank you all. You are free to go.